Whether you are a bookworm or not, you will not waste your time by going through 2 compiled lists of super useful non-fiction and fiction survival books. All of you know the importance of preparedness when an SHTF scenario occurs. However, it doesn't refer only to the necessary equipment, but also to your skills and knowledge about the situation. It is well known that knowledge is power. The following lists of handy survival books will equip you with that key power. They will help you weather any storm, as they range from medical guides, general emergency preparedness to wilderness survival. The survival books on the lists are written by respectable and proven authors who know their business. They are the ones who can provide you with the indispensable information of any SHTF scenarios. You will see that we included 7 non-fiction survival books because you need practical advice. It is also useful to go through a few fiction survival books as they broaden our perspectives and imagination. Let's dive in. If you find yourself in the wilderness, all alone or in company, you will need the non-fiction survival book by Buck Tilton, Wilderness First Responder: How to Recognize, Treat, and Prevent Emergencies in the Backcountry. Especially if you need a doctor and there is none near you. Referring to proper medical care that can literally save your lives, this book is all-inclusive. It covers a range from light injuries to cardiac arrest and abdominal wounds. From light to serious health problems. Studying basic human anatomy is also possible with this book. In case your IFAK lacks some items, you will know what to do as well. And the author of this book is fantastic. This first aid teacher and an ambulance and hospital volunteer founded NOLS, the world's largest school of wilderness medicine. Unfortunately, you have already witnessed some calamities when the whole medical system nearly collapses. So, it is not so realistic to rely on professional medical help in emergency situations. The Survival Medicine Handbook, the essential guide for when medical help is not on the way, indicates this reality in its title. Its claim is, the professional medical help can't and won't arrive. Therefore, this book advises us on standard medical procedures and supplies, natural remedies, hygiene and sanitation, infections, over-the-counter drugs and antibiotics. It encourages us to take responsibility when you see that you can count only on yourself, thus helping the people around you. The author of PREPPER'S Long-Term Survival Guide, a lifelong prepping expert, has written a number of bestsellers on various survival topics. This book focuses on long-term systemic breakdowns, particularly in urban areas. This must-have guide includes important aspects, such as foods, medicine, sheltering, homesteading, community building. Hopefully, you will never have to face some violence in these SHTF scenarios. However, violence is one more side effect. You never know, but the book Facing Violence, Preparing for the Unexpected addresses this social phenomenon by showing you how the psychology of violence works, how to act properly and defend yourself and the people around you. Fingers crossed you never need it. The title of the next work is SAS Survival Handbook, the ultimate guide to surviving anywhere. SAS stands for Special Air Service and refers to its author John Lofty Wiseman, who spent 26 years there. He also worked as an instructor. This handbook is large, so you just choose the chapter which interests you. It practically considers all aspects of SHTF circumstances, things to buy and stockpile, strategic plans, climate and terrain examinations, orientation in nature, healthcare, rescuing people, survival at sea or city. In other words, how to be your own doctor, dentist, navigator, and cook. Since cooking is mentioned, there is this book which can answer the question, how do you make do in nature when you run out of supply? Hunting is not an answer. It is a possibility, but the true answer is plants. Edible wild plants, a North American field guide to over 200 natural foods, provides an insight into classifications of edible plants across America, as well as seasons and terrains. Detailed pictures of the plants are in full color, complemented with some useful recipes for preparing your meals with them. There are also some comparisons of edible plants and their lookalikes. However, if you want a full overview of America's toxic plants, there is this book, Toxic Plants of North America. Lights Out, A Cyber Attack, A Nation Unprepared, Surviving the Aftermath, is a New York bestseller written by Ted Koppel, who has examined the cyber attack scenario in detail as he talked with senators, politicians, civil servants, and other decision makers. In case of an effective cyber attack, the collapse of our grid systems is not only possible, but certain. There are numerous hackers worldwide who are definitely capable of breaching through security systems and causing complete chaos everywhere. Although the government pays attention to preparations for all natural disasters, it isn't prepared for this cyber type of catastrophe. The book, as an immensely realistic account of the state of things, loudly warns upper social classes to try and to prevent this realistic cyber disaster. When it comes to the best fiction survival books, we will mention 3. As one of the best fiction survival books of all time, Station 11 depicts the consequences of a swine flu pandemic. As we have recently experienced grave issues of the COVID-19 pandemic, this book's scenes may seem deja vu. According to the book, this swine flu pandemic is transferred and spread by transportation. It is familiar, isn't it? Then, the pandemic kills most of the world's population in a few weeks. The survivors have to face the new state of affairs and try to establish their civilization and make sense of their new and former lives. A frequent reference in the Pentagon, a book that all Americans should read, dubbed this way by the Congress. The novel 1 Second After is the first part of a trilogy which deals with a catastrophic turn of events after the US loses a war to a single high-tech weapon. This weapon is so realistic that its non-existence in the real world is weird. Yet, maybe it exists. Anyway, there is a protagonist who decides to do what it takes to protect his family and his small community. The writer of the survival trilogy, unofficially known as John Matheson series, William R. Forstchen, holds a PhD in military history and technology and definitely knows the state of affairs. The state of affairs for Brian Robeson, the protagonist of the survival novel Hatchet, is ultimately challenging. Namely, after a plane crash, the only survivor Brian has the option to learn to cope and endure, or the option to succumb and die. And he struggles through harsh nature trying to survive, physically and psychologically. In the 2-month period, when rescued, Brian learns a lot about the power of nature and cruel wilderness, and he learns about himself. This novel may seem like a blend of Daniel Defoe and Jack London. Its kid-friendly title is intended for adults as well, with many educational elements in it.